Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after the Rangers finish off a 4-game sweep, now currently on a 5-game winning streak. Rangers take this matinee on a Thursday by the score of 2-1. We're going to get into everything. The scoring, there wasn't much of it. Some of the highlights, some of the key moments in the game. We'll go through the box score, try and do some translations. Obviously, box score doesn't always tell the whole story. But first, before we get started, y'all know here, Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers, and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you so much for choosing Right on Rangers for your Rangers content. If you're not following, not subscribed to the channel quite yet, please go ahead, click that follow or subscribe button so that way you can stay updated every time we go live and keep up with our latest and greatest content. Thanks again for joining us. I'll be checking the chat periodically as we go through our post-game analysis. Any comments you have, something you need to get off your chest, something that you noticed in the game that's worth talking about. If you got a question you want to throw my way, please put it in the comments. Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and let's get started with this one. We've got, first of all, Max Scherzer on the bump today. Scherzer, like Nate Eovaldi, had a tough time against Baltimore. Not one of Max Scherzer's better starts against the Orioles last time out. He only went 2 innings. There was absolutely some concern there that maybe Max was dealing with a little injury, but he quickly clarified after the game last weekend against Baltimore. A little bit of arm fatigue, no strain, nothing crazy like that in terms of injury, but the arm was tired essentially, and they were going to go through kind of a normal recovery process. And then this week, he threw a bullpen. Assuming he started today, everything went fine in that bullpen, and he came out and fired 6 nearly shutout innings. He did give up an RBI single in, the top of the 3rd inning, but the Rangers quickly neutralized that with a Marcus Semien home run. One of the only offensive outputs of the day. The bottom of the 4th inning was the last time either team would score in this one. And that actually came off of a Leody Taveras fielder's choice. There was runners on 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Leody grounds into what looked like a double play initially, but Leody able to beat out the throw from second. Nate Lowe scores on that fielder's choice to make it 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Neither team would score again after that. So, look, if you like really good pitching and really good defense, this game was absolutely for you. There was not a lot to be happy or excited about in terms of the bats. Not a lot of hits in this one. The Rangers did have 10, so maybe I take that back. Only 5 hits scored from the White Sox. Rangers obviously missed out on some opportunities, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this one. Only 1 extra base hit beyond the Marcus Semien home run. Nate Lowe had a double, a lot of singles, and just not able to come through with runners in scoring position. Grossman, Seager, Kisner all had runners left in scoring position with 2 outs. So a number of missed opportunities for the Rangers. At the end of the day, it goes down in the record books as a 4-game sweep, and the Rangers are on a 5-game winning streak. Going back to Max Scherzer, his final stat line, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, so 4 base runners the entire game, 1 earned run, 9 Ks, and Max Scherzer, milestone for him today if you didn't catch it. Scherzer moves into 10th place all-time Major League Baseball history books for strikeouts. He actually passed Justin Verlander of the Astros. Verlander currently not pitching on the injured list, although I think he is set to make a return soon. So Scherzer and Verlander will be battling it out for the 10th spot on that list, perhaps passing. I don't know what number 9 is at in terms of strikeouts, but a milestone for Max Scherzer, striking out 9 today, moving into the top 10 all-time on the Major League Baseball strikeout list. Good for him. Great bounce back start for him. He improves to 2-3 on the season, 3.57 ERA. That ERA was up to close to 4 after that Baltimore start on Saturday. He lowers that ERA to 3.57 today. And then let's get into some of the other pitchers and some of the other bullpen guys that pitched in this one. So Jacob Latz comes in immediately after Scherzer, and he got into some trouble pretty much right away. So Jacob Latz comes in the 7th inning in a one-run game, right? So clearly they are back to using Jacob Latz in fairly high leverage situations. He did get roughed up a little bit there in the month of June and maybe a little bit even into July, but had a great showing against the Astros. Has been pretty solid of late. So they threw him in there in the top of the 7th inning right away. He got the, I believe, let me see here. Let me make sure that, yep, okay, good to go here. Got a strikeout right away. And then Leody Taveras with a huge defensive play. So Eloy Jimenez comes up, drives the ball to right center field. Leody able to cut it off before it gets to the fence. That was huge. He took a great route to the ball and fired in a one-hopper to Marcus Semien to nab Jimenez, trying to take second base. That would have made it runner on second with one out. Right after that, Paul DeJong singled on a line drive to center field, would have probably no doubt scored Jimenez had Leody not thrown him out. That was a huge defensive play in the top of the 7th inning. Again, it's a one-run game at that point. There is a limited margin for error. It felt like just a classic Rangers game where you just weren't going to get those insurance runs late. Now, last night and even in the game before that, the Rangers did manage to tack on some runs late. This one, though, just had the feel like you were going to have to hold that 2-1 lead, and the pitching, by and large, was up to the task. The bullpen guys were. Jacob Latz definitely got a little bit of help there. After the DeJong single, Brooks Baldwin walked. Jose Leclerc came in, and it was a big spot. Runners on first and second for Jose Leclerc in the top of the 7th inning, and Leclerc able to get the hold. He, I believe, got a ground out to first base, Nick Senzel, and then it sent that one to the bottom of the 7th. So Jose Leclerc coming through in a big moment in the game. That was not easy. First and second, 2 outs, and it's a one-run game at that point. A base hit ties the game. Jose Leclerc coming up huge in that moment, and he has been on one of late. I believe that his last 4 or 5 outings, he has not allowed a hit or a base runner. So I'm looking at his last 3 games, no hits, no walks, 7 Ks in his last 3 outings. Very, very impressive stuff from Jose Leclerc. It wasn't a shock to me that they decided to use him in that big spot. Bails out Jacob Latz. Jacob Latz, he's had a few of those. Robertson has come in, kind of cleaned up the mess. Jacob Latz a little bit, and Leclerc does it tonight too. I think we all want to see Latz do well, and I think ideally they would really like to use Jacob Latz 1-2 batters here and there, lefty-lefty matchups, but unfortunately, with the rule change that a relief pitcher has to face a minimum of 3 batters if they come into an inning, right? If you don't come into an inning or if you finish an inning, it's a little different, right? But Jacob Latz comes into a clean inning in the top of the 7th, has to face the minimum 3 batters. After that, gets a little bit dicey, but we've got Leclerc coming in, cleaning up the mess. There we go. Look, Jose Leclerc, as much as he is a polarizing Rangers reliever, you're going to hear me defend him quite a bit. He has been a solid pitcher for us this year. It feels like he's given up some home runs and some hits. I like to look at the whole season collectively. That's what you got to do in a 162-game season. It's hard not to get too high or too low, but Jose Leclerc last 7 games, 1.29 ERA. I mean, the stats don't lie. Leclerc has been incredibly solid for the Rangers. 216 in his last 15 games, 288 in his last 30 games. Leclerc has been an incredibly solid reliever for the Rangers in the pen. Argue it with me till you're blue in the face. I'm just going to keep telling you the stats. It doesn't matter. And there's games like today that get forgotten about. Jose Leclerc comes in the top of the 7th inning with 2 runners on, 2 out, and he's needed to get in out in a pressureful situation, and he gets it. You're not going to have a lot of Rangers fans bringing up this game against the White Sox the next time Jose Leclerc blows a lead. But I'll be here to remind you, don't you worry. Jose Leclerc, big spot, big moment. Glad he got it done. Let's keep things moving here. Box score, just going up and down the list here. We're just doing the pitching for today. Robertson comes in, gets the 2-out save. I thought maybe they would go Yates. But with him going 3 straight days, I know he got the day off yesterday, but he pitched in the Baltimore game. He pitched in the first 2 games of the White Sox series. Clearly, they're wanting to give him a couple of days here. It makes sense. He will be needed in the Blue Jay series, if I had to guess. The Rangers enjoy playing close ball games. They just do. And this Blue Jay series is going to be pretty big. Right before the trade deadline, I think it is going to determine a lot. If the Rangers can reel off 3 more wins, doing a little 8-game win streak, maybe the Rangers become a legit buyer at the deadline. If you've got the Rangers kind of going par for the course in this Blue Jay series, maybe it looks a little bit different. So you want to have all hands on deck for this Blue Jay series. You want everybody to be available to get some wins right before this trade deadline. 3 games coming up with the Blue Jays in Toronto. You got a game on Monday night in St. Louis. Trade deadline July 30th on Tuesday in the afternoon before they play the second game of that series against the Cardinals. We shall see what happens. But going back to today's game, David Robertson, 2 innings, multi-inning save for him, 2 strikeouts, no base runners allowed. Total low drama appearance from Dave Robertson. That is what we want to see from him. 3.02 ERA now on the season for Robertson. Great guy to have. I said when we acquired Robertson, he was going to be a little bit of a catch-all. Kirby Yates obviously established himself as the team's closer early on in the season, but Robertson has been equally solid, gets his 2nd save of the season. It is so nice to have guys like Robertson and Yates. I know we take them for granted, y'all, but having those guys in games like this brings the team, I believe, so much confidence. I know as a fan sitting at home, I'm not sweating out these Robertson and Yates appearances. Not that they've been perfect, but I'm just not sweating them out like I did when Aroldis Chapman was coming into the game. And yes, to an extent, even when Jose Leclerc was coming into the game last year, there was not any such thing as a no-sweat appearance from those guys. It seemed like we were always dealing with runners on base. To have Robertson come in, go 2 innings, not give up a single base runner, no walks, no hits, that makes up a lot for what we had to deal with last year. I feel like it's karma for us in a good way. Baseball gods blessing us with some no-stress late innings, and you love to see it. Let me go to comments here. It's been a while since I checked them out. Gio, what's up? If you're still watching out there, Gio says, go Rangers. Now with the sweep of the White Sox, Rangers should go 2-1 or better against the Blue Jays to get to 500. That would be ideal. It would be very much ideal. Rangers now within 1 game of 500. You go 2-1. That leaves you at 500 going into the St. Louis series Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off day on Thursday. So I agree. That would be ideal. I will still say this. We said at the beginning of the week, could we just go 5-2? We're right now 4-0. So looking very, very good to go at minimum 5-2. I think with the momentum the Rangers have gained, winning that last game on Sunday against Baltimore, winning these 4 in a row, I think now at this point, you do want to see the Rangers win this Jays series, if at all possible. Now, if they only take 1 of 3, they'll have gone 5-2 for the week. I don't think that anybody needs to panic if the Rangers don't win this series with the Jays. So I'm not going to be, and I think, honestly, the Rangers have probably played themselves into not being hard sellers at the deadline. I think they played well enough this week. You've got 5 wins in a row now. My guess is that that was probably good enough for CY to not be a hard seller at the deadline. Right now, you're 2.5 games out of first place. You've got, 60 games left to go, 59 games left to go. I think the Rangers have probably played themselves out of being hard sellers. I'm sure they're still taking phone calls on certain guys. You got to do it. It's the right thing for 2025 and beyond. See what teams are offering you. But I think Chris Young made it clear in the interviews that he did earlier in the week. He is looking for every reason to not be a hard seller at this deadline. I think the Rangers are helping make that decision for him, and I think it's all but been made. I think you might still see a Lorenzen get traded. I know I've said that multiple times this week. Maybe you'll see the Rangers go out and get a right-handed bat. I floated out the idea maybe the Rangers trade somebody to make room for that new right-handed bat that we're talking about. Don't know who it would be, but that would be interesting. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. A lot of deadline deals get made. Not a lot of deals, at least the big ones, get made 3-4 days before the deadline. So the White Sox series step in the right direction. I think it all but sealed it. Obviously, the Jays series, you're going to be monitoring, seeing how the Rangers are playing. Sure would be nice if they could just keep on this win streak here, go 7 in a row, go 8 in a row. That would be absolutely huge. I mean, it's a possibility. I don't think any Rangers fan would have thought this, but it is a possibility that at the end of this weekend, the Rangers could be in first place. Now, is it likely? No. But is it a possibility? Yes. If the Astros lose 3 straight against the Dodgers and we sweep, we'll be in first place. Sole possession of it in the division. Mariners are still a little bit ahead of us. So look, if they were to sweep this weekend, technically they'd still be a bit ahead. But I'll tell you what, it would be pretty wild if the Dodgers are able to go into Houston, take 3 games, Rangers reel off 3 straight, and we're in first place heading into the trade deadline. Are you kidding me? That would be wild. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Rangers hopefully will take 2 out of 3 against the Jays and maybe be a game and a half out, something like that. And I'll take that heading into the trade deadline, 100%. Frankie, what's up, my guy? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. I know I've got a few other people that commented as well. What's up? Good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Right on Rangers. Thank you so much. I'm doing a podcast right now for the Rangers. It's pretty self-explanatory, but hey, just in case you need a little extra help there, let me keep on going here. So we have got a little bit of some things to work through in this game from an offensive perspective. Marcus Semien 2 for 4 on the day. Great to see Marcus Semien hitting well. He was in such a bad slump before they gave him that off day. Great to see Simmy on a really, really good clip right now. 345 average over his last 15 games. 320 batting over his last 7 games. It is just great to see Marcus Semien looking like himself. 463 OBP last 15, 433 OBP last 7. Simmy's back. I think we can say 15-game stretch here, batting 345 with the 463 OBP. I think we got Simmy back. I think we've got him back, y'all. That was rough. That was brutal for about a month straight. Marcus Semien just not looking like himself, got the off day, and the ship seems to have righted itself with Marcus Semien. I think with him at the top of the lineup doing his thing, he is going to provide the spark that we need to keep this thing going for the second half. And I think the Rangers and the struggles that they had in that month where he was not himself, it's not a coincidence to me. You got your leadoff hitter hitting under 200. I think he was hitting close to 100 at one point in a stretch. It just was not good. So it wasn't a coincidence the Rangers were struggling with their leadoff hitter hitting 100. So getting Simmy back is absolutely huge. Corey Seager today in the game, he goes 1 for 3. Josh Smith 1 for 3 with the walk. His prototypical stat line, 1 for 3 with the walk. Josh Smith bouncing back as well. He was hitting under 100 in his last 9-10 games. But the last few games, he appears to have gotten in a little bit of a groove himself. Wyatt Langford goes over, as does Adolis Garcia. Wyatt Langford did draw a walk in the game. Nate Lowe continues his hot hitting. He's up to 270 now on the year. 2 for 3 with the walk. Nate Lowe on base 3 different times. I really wouldn't mind seeing, even though Doley comes through with the 3-hit game, I just really would not mind seeing Nate Lowe hit 5. I really wouldn't at this point. I mean, I like him in the 6th spot. Don't get me wrong. Wouldn't mind seeing him hit one more spot higher in the order with how well he's seeing the baseball right now. Nate Lowe had a double today as well, single, and then a walk. So Nate Lowe doing good things from the middle of the order for the Rangers. Robbie Grossman, even though righty on the mound, Robbie Grossman draws the start, and 2 for 4 on the day. Special day for Robbie Grossman as well, if you didn't catch it. Robbie, 10 years now in Major League Baseball, 10 years of service time. Good for him. If you don't know the significance of that, basically, when you get 10 years of service time, you really max out the MLB pension once you retire, benefits, all that good stuff. It's pretty generous when you read the numbers on it. So good for Robbie Grossman. I feel like it's, if I remember correctly, it's something like $250,000 a year in benefits after you retire if you get 10 years of service time. So good for Robbie Grossman. Not a guy that normally gets a lot of starts for the Rangers facing righties, but he did today. And honestly, I didn't mind seeing it. I mean, this was a day where you probably would have seen Travis Jankowski hitting DH. Really didn't mind the fact that they gave Robbie Grossman an opportunity today on a big day, 10 years of service time for him, celebrating that today. And he does it in grand fashion, 2 for 4, getting on base a couple different times. Good for him. Leote, 0 for 3, did have an RBI on that fielder's choice in the 4th inning. And that ended up being huge. I think between the RBI fielder's choice and the outfield assist that he had in the top of the 7th to help out Jacob Latz, who was starting to struggle a little bit in that inning, Leote played a huge role tonight. So even though he doesn't get a hit officially, gets an RBI, the game-winning RBI, and makes a huge play out in the outfield. Good on Leote. And Andrew Knizner, much maligned Andrew Knizner, 172 average on the year, but he gets 2 hits tonight. 2 for 3 from Kiz. Got to appreciate it. Got to give Kiz his flowers because he has taken a lot of crap from Rangers fans for not hitting, for not performing. So good for him. Good for Andrew Knizner. Usually gets the start. In fact, I think he has caught every single Max Scherzer start. Probably a trend. We've talked about this. That's going to continue the rest of the year. Good excuse to give Jonah Heim an off day. So Andrew Knizner, 2 for 3. Got to give him some love today because the Rangers fans sure do come out in droves, myself included, when you get an offer from Andrew Knizner. 172 average doesn't look good, but just the eye test, the optics, it feels like he has been producing a little bit more in the opportunities that he's been getting a hit at minimum. I think he even had another multi-hit game a couple of weeks ago, something like that. I'd have to look it up. I'll look up the Andrew Knizner game log for you right now. We got a little bit of time. Andrew Knizner, last 3 games, looks like he is 3 for 9. Last 3 games that he's gotten an opportunity. He was 0 for in Houston, had 2 RBI in the Baltimore game that he caught. I think that was in a loss, but nevertheless. And then 2 hits today. Good for Kiz. Good for him. And Andrew Knizner, if you didn't catch it, threw out a base runner today too. Another thing that a lot of Rangers fans were getting on him for. I mean, seriously, Andrew Knizner, we got to give him some props. Threw out a runner, couple of hits today. Good for him. Good for him. Let's go ahead and keep things rolling. I'm going to go to some comments here real quick. Aaron, what's up, my guy? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Aaron says, bold prediction here. We're going to be in first place by the 2nd week of August, I believe, as long as we keep playing small ball, get runs in with defense staying hot, making plays, but especially with our pitching being on a little hot streak. I agree. We've had some great pitching performances of late. Evo bounced back, gave us a huge performance. Scherzer, same thing. Andrew Heaney's been great. We've really been getting some very, very high quality pitching performances. That's kind of been the trend all year, right? I really hope the Rangers can keep this winning streak going. We're at 5 wins in a row right now. Man, would it be nice to sweep the Jays 8 in a row. And then at that point, you're 2 games over 500. That would be phenomenal. We'll see if it happens. I don't want to get greedy. I'll take 2 out of 3 in Toronto, but I'll tell you what, it's hard not to get excited about a 5-game win streak and about where the Rangers are at right now in the division, 2.5 games out of first place. I mean, literally a second ago, the Rangers were like 10 games out, and it was looking very, very bleak. Rangers now 2.5 games out. Not sure what the wild card is at, but with this win streak, the wild card is looking a lot better. Also, I think the Rangers were like 5.5 out of the wild card last time I checked. I'm going to go ahead and head to the standings right now just because I'm curious. Right now, like I said, Rangers 2.5 games behind the Astros, 1.5 games behind the Mariners for second place, 5 games out of a wild card spot. So look, with this winning streak, I think it's still unlikely with just the quality of the competition that's ahead of them in the wild card. But the Rangers, 5 games with 59 left, 5 games out, 59 left. I don't think it's totally out of the question that the Rangers could get a wild card spot if they keep playing like this. Division, obviously a lot more likely, but 5 games out with 59 left to go isn't terrible. It's not terrible. We can work with that. So we'll see what happens there. Keep on rolling here. Josh Smith should have been an all-star. I do agree with this. I do agree. I think Seager was obviously the big name. Seager got the selection when Correa went out, and I don't think that they follow like the anybody infield-wise can sub in protocol. I think it's very position-specific. Josh Smith was a third baseman. Siegs, obviously shortstop, becomes the natural replacement for Correa. But Josh Smith, I think he easily could have been an all-star. And good to see him bouncing back. He had about an 8 or 9 game stretch there where he was just not feeling it. He had a couple bombs in Houston, but there was a lot of yuck around those 2 home runs. But he appears to have gotten back into a groove over his last 3 games. 1 for 3 with the walk today. Good for Josh Smith. Good to see him doing well. Texas Rangers fans only. Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the comment too and the support. Texas Rangers fans only. Great group on Facebook. If you're looking for a Rangers community to join, highly recommend. Oh man, are we getting some Astros fans in here? Man, tell you what, Astros fans just can't stay away. The Rangers just live rent free. It's obvious. Man, every week I usually get an Astros fan in here. It is what it is. We all know what happened last year. Really don't need to say a whole lot else, do we? My goodness. Gio, thanks for the stat. This is a good one. The Rangers are 14-6 in the last 20 games, which is best in MLB in that stretch. That's impressive. Very impressive. 5-game winning streak right now. Is that probably the biggest win streak right now in MLB? Looks like it is. The Padres looks like also have a little 5-game winning streak going. The Angels have a little 4-game winning streak going. White Sox have lost 11 in a row. My goodness. You could be making some money right now betting the White Sox to just lose every single game. Right now, if you bet against them 11 straight games, you'd be making some profit. 11 straight for the White Sox. My goodness, yuck. Braves are on a little 4-game losing streak. I'm just looking for streaks right now, 3 games or more, win or lose. That looks to be about it. Nationals on a little 3-game losing streak. Mets on a 3-game win streak. It is what it is. We'll go through Major League Baseball headlines here in a little bit. Aaron, I got to deal with it. Like I said, weekly basis. We get the Astros fans chiming in, talking smack. It's all right. We just bring up the ALCS. There's not a whole lot else left to say. Hey, you could bring up the last series too in the home ballpark. You won the first game, and then Rangers went ahead and took 2 or 3 from you. It is what it is. You just kind of got to let the play on the field speak for itself sometimes. Astros fans don't like to talk about it, but the play on the field is really all you need when you're going back and forth with the Trashros fans. I mean, seriously. Let me keep going here. I could go on for a while about the Astros, but we got more important things to talk about. Let's be honest here. So I think we went through the box score. We talked about the 1-for-8 runners in scoring position. Look, if we're being real, the offense had a great game last night. I always have the thought when they score like 10 runs or more, could we save some runs for the next game, please? And it looks like they didn't today, but they scored just enough. Josh Young, can some of y'all confirm this? If you've heard, did I hear Josh Young is going to be starting tomorrow? I heard that he was going to Frisco yesterday, and then I got this tweet mid-game that he's going to be actually starting tomorrow in Toronto. Did anybody else hear that? I'm going to look it up real quick while we're talking. I heard Josh Young is going to be starting tomorrow. So it looks like, and this is Dallas Morning News, Texas Rangers third baseman Josh Young will make post-injury debut on Friday. So that kind of came out of nowhere. I have no idea what the change was or why they decided to go ahead and just start him tomorrow in Toronto. All reports were he's starting a rehab assignment in Frisco. So on Friday, and then Evan Carter was about a week behind. But the Rangers have decided to start Josh Young tomorrow in Toronto. I'm excited about that, man. He must be just feeling really good. All the BP he's been taking, there must just be no setbacks, nothing like that. I really hope that he's 100%. And I'm excited to see what the Rangers do with the lineup. I'm really, really intrigued. What are the Rangers going to do with the lineup with Josh Young back? If I had to guess, they're probably going to be doing still the same thing in the 3 spot. I don't know who they face tomorrow. I should look that up real quick. Not sure who the Rangers face in terms of opposing pitcher. If it's a lefty, whatever the case may be. If it's a lefty, I could see them putting Josh Young just in the 3 spot right away. It would not shock me in the slightest to see Josh Young in the 3 spot right out the chute if there's a lefty going tomorrow for the Jays. Let me go ahead and check that out for you right now, guys. We'll see what happens. I'm really, really intrigued. I don't know. I know I've got a couple of comments here that are maybe saying otherwise. Gio says, I think it's Frisco for Josh Young, not Toronto. Let me see here. I'm gonna do a little bit of a deeper dive into this. I'm looking at the starters for tomorrow night. Looks like Heaney is going against Kikuchi, who is a big trade item, whatever you want to call it, for the Jays, with them being with the record they have 10 games under 500. Although the Jays have said they're not going to be selling a lot, so I don't know. But with the lefty going, if Josh Young is getting the start tomorrow for the Rangers, I think he very well could occupy the 3-hole. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm looking right now, Dallas Morning News says to play rehab assignment with Double-A Frisco on Friday. Okay, maybe that tweet that I got was just something that I misread. It seemed like kind of weird that they would say Toronto and then all of a sudden, switch it up, I guess, like that late. So maybe that was somebody getting some bad information or misreading something. But Josh Young at least going to be making the Double-A Frisco debut once again. I think he was with Round Rock first time around, so he's going to go to Frisco now. We'll see what happens. This is July 25th at 1:29, and it does say here, an earlier version of this story incorrectly said that Rangers third baseman Josh Young would return to the Rangers starting lineup in their Friday game. Okay, so, hey, there's the retraction. So I didn't just make that up out of nowhere. Dallas Morning News earlier did report he was going to be starting in Toronto, but in fact, he is going to be Frisco for the weekend series. Maybe we'll get him back next week. Okay, we cleared that up. I'm really intrigued, though, just to continue on what they're going to do with the lineup. By the way, I know a few of y'all have been throwing out there Josh Smith, and what are we going to do with Josh Smith? I think Josh Young is the better third baseman, although we've seen Josh Smith. He's got a great glove. I think Josh Smith is going to bounce around a lot in the infield, give Seager some time off. Seager maybe does some DHing for us. Josh Smith plays shortstop. Josh Young, I'm sure, is going to need some days where he either takes off or where he just DHs. just as they work him back from the injury. So I think Josh Smith is still going to have a place. There were some people that were suggesting that Josh Smith should play outfield. I think there is room for him maybe out in left field if you wanted to move Wyatt to center. You've got Leody Taveras against lefties really sitting quite a bit. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Leody could potentially be an odd man out. If you wanted to move Josh Smith to the outfield, I looked it up last night after the podcast, after I went live, because we were talking about it. Josh Smith does not have very many reps out in the outfield in terms of gameplay. So look, all levels, he has 64 games of outfield experience, all levels. I mean, it's just not very much. We're talking minors, majors, we're talking college, we're talking any time that he spent out of the country playing ball. He's got 51 games started and 64 games total out in the outfield. A total of, looks like, 454 innings. So look, to me, that's not a lot. It's something, but it's not a lot. I don't know how comfortable the Rangers would be throwing him out in left field. I think he did it last year, right? Josh Smith did play some games in left field last year for us. I think, to be more specific, he played at, looks like, 44 total games for us in left field last year, or across the last two seasons. Last year, looks like he had 20 games in the outfield for us. And then in 2022, he also did like 24 games. So look, the last two seasons, he's at least got 20 plus games outfield experience. It's not totally crazy. If you want to move Josh Smith to left field, it probably just means you're not going to be seeing much of Leody anymore. Which, I mean, look, Leody's been playing better of late. But if you do want to go that route and leave the DH spot open, I do think that it's going to be difficult. When Evan Carter comes back, it's going to be even more difficult. But Josh Smith could play some outfield. I don't know if they've been working it, if they've been repping it out at all with him. But I do think Josh Young is going to get his third base spot back. Josh Young is a very, very good third baseman. I do not think that Josh Smith is going to be taking over third base. He'll get to spell Josh Young occasionally, but Josh Smith is going to be bouncing around a little bit, probably doing some DHing, some, spelling of Corey Seager and Josh Young occasionally, maybe getting some outfield reps. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll keep things rolling here. Aaron, thanks for tuning in, bud. I really do feel like it would be huge to take 2 out of 3 in St. Louis, 2 out of 3 this weekend in Toronto. I'd still say you got to look at things, the big picture here, especially when the deadline passes. The Rangers have gone on a very, very good clip right now. Like Gio told us, 14-6 over their last 20 games. I'm going to try not to get too wrapped up in the game by game. If they drop a game, they drop a game. But you would like to see the Rangers continuing to win games at about a 60% clip. 67 would be great, 2 out of 3 basically. But I'm with you. I think the Rangers need to continue to take 2 out of 3 where they can. That would go a long way. It would go a really long way. And then the Astros series is coming up pretty soon at Globe Life. I think after the Red Sox series is at Houston. I know that Houston series is coming up pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens. We shall see. Let me go ahead and take a look at the matchup for tomorrow. More specifically, I already talked about it is Heaney versus Kikuchi. So we will see lefty for the Rangers. Last time against Crochet, they were able to put some runs on the board. So you know what? You can't get mad. The Rangers against lefties, it feels like it's been better. I don't know what the stats say, but it feels like it's been better against lefties. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if the Rangers have a lot of stats against Kikuchi in their careers, but looks like a few guys have some actually pretty solid numbers. Robbie Grossman, I'm sure he'll be getting the start tomorrow. Robbie is 3 for 8 with a homer off Kikuchi. Garcia is 1 for 4 with a homer. Nate Lowe, lefty. He has a home run. He's actually 3 for 5 with a bomb against Kikuchi. Nate Lowe. Corey Seager, 1 for 6. Marcus Semien, I'm not going to be able to do the fast math on this one, but I think it's 6 for 28 with the home run. Josh Smith, 0 for 1. Leote, he will probably not be playing tomorrow against the lefty. Leote is 0 for 4 against Kikuchi in his career. On the other side, for the Jays, Vladdy loves facing Andrew Heaney, 3 for 4 with the bomb. So maybe a guy to stay away from tomorrow. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., 3 for 4 with the bomb off Andrew Heaney. You have Justin Turner, 3 for 10 with 2 homers off Heaney. George Springer is, I believe, 5 for 16 in his career versus Andrew Heaney. No homers, but 5 for 16. Kiermaier, 0 for 3. Kirk, the catcher, 0 for 2. Jansen, 0 for 1. Clement, the third baseman, 1 for 2. So kind of a mixed bag. Springer, Turner, the only guys with double-digit ABs. Turner, maybe a guy to look out for. Turner with a 1.317 OPS against Heaney. Got to look out for him. Got to look out for Vladdy. But the Blue Jays have not been playing great baseball. Going into this one, I'll be curious to see what their last 10 looks like. I'm going to try and look it up for you guys right now while we're chatting. But the Blue Jays are 10 games under 500. They came out and basically said they're not going to be hard sellers for whatever reason. I don't know. I do think they've got some guys that are controllable. Maybe they want to try and reload. But the Blue Jays are 4-6 over their last 10. They lost their last game out. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what this series is going to look like. I don't think the Blue Jays are a terrible team by any means. But I do think this is a series that the Rangers should win. 100%. This is a series that the Rangers should come away with the W. 2 out of 3 at minimum. Hopefully they can keep it going and make it 8 straight victories. Man, that would be sweet. I would love to see that. No doubt. I mean, 8 straight wins. That puts you at 500. Basically 500. As sure as that going into the trade deadline. 3 more wins, the Rangers would be 2 games over 500. I mean, and then you would ensure 500 plus with the trade deadline on Tuesday, even going into that St. Louis series. You win 3 more, and the Rangers might be looking for a pretty decent bat to acquire at the deadline. We'll see what happens. I am really, really excited about this weekend, though. Hope the good vibes keep going for the Rangers. A lot of people kind of started giving up on the Rangers last weekend, y'all. I mean, look, we're not going to hold it against them too much, but I do feel like y'all didn't see any meltdowns from me even after the first 2 games of that Baltimore series. I told y'all on that Saturday night after Scherzer kind of got lit up against Baltimore, I said, this is a really good Baltimore team. Let's win a game on Sunday and let's beat up on the White Sox. That's exactly what happened. Now we are in a great position heading into the trade deadline. I really can't complain at all. I'm just happy that the Rangers have put themselves in a position to not be hard sellers, put themselves in a position to compete for a playoff spot, compete for a division title. They've worked their way a little bit back into the wild card discussion. Still probably a long shot, but the Rangers only 5 games out of a wild card spot, 2.5 games out of the division. They very much are relevant in the postseason talk, and I don't think they're going to be trading anybody away, maybe beyond a Mike Lorenzen type. We'll see what happens. The word on the street from Ken Rosenthal, talked about it yesterday, is the Rangers are looking for a bat, a right-handed bat, maybe with a little pop. We talked about Isaac Paredes from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's a very, very well sought after third base, first base, kind of a corner infield guy. The Astros are looking into him as well. Sure would be nice to acquire a guy like that if the price is right. Keep the Astros from getting him. Man, we'll see. I will be very, very curious. What are the Rangers exactly going to do at the deadline? What does CY have up his sleeve? Don't think there was a whole lot going on with the AL West. I know the Mariners and the Stros were both idle today. I do think the Angels and the A's play later tonight. Yep, they do. 8:38 Texas time start. So if you need something late night, I don't know who you cheer for. I think you cheer for the A's since the Angels are a little bit hot and still within striking distance of the Rangers. Crazy enough, they are, looks like 5 games behind, 4.5, 5 games behind the Rangers right now. So I think you got to cheer for the A's tonight in LA playing the Angels. Nothing else really, though, to report. There's only a few games going right now. In fact, the Braves Mets and the A's Angels are the only 2 games the rest of the way tonight. Around baseball, pretty big news. The Padres win 3-0 and no-hit the Nationals. That was Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease throwing a no-hitter. That is impressive. I wonder how many pitches he had to throw in that one. I'm always curious. Sometimes you guys know with no-hitters, you got guys not able to finish them out because the pitch count's too high. So we'll see what he did in his game today, but very, very impressive. Dylan Cease, 3.50 ERA on the year, 10-8 on the season. Look, he hasn't been dominant this year. I think the Rangers actually, I don't think they got dominated by him. I think they put up a few runs against him, but he ended up throwing 114 pitches today in his no-hitter. That's not bad. You'll take 114 pitch no-hitter. That is not bad at all. Good for Dylan Cease. Good for him. I'll give you the rest of the headlines here in a second. I'm just going to keep checking comments here. Aaron says, I think we need a big bat. Pitching's good. We got reinforcements going back. A big bat would be huge. I do agree. I really think even though you got Josh Young and Evan Carter waiting in the wings, I said to y'all, I really don't think you can count on that 100%. It's no disrespect to Josh Young. It's no disrespect to Evan Carter, although Evan Carter had a very rough start to the season. I'm not putting my eggs in that basket, in the Josh Young, Evan Carter are going to save the offense basket. I've said that really the entire season. I would love to see them acquire a right-handed power bat and not count on Josh Young being the guy that turns the offense around. If he is, great, but it would be nice to reload, kind of replace Mitch Garver, if you will. Mitch Garver was a right-handed power bat for us. Now, I think they did the right thing letting Garver go. He does have double-digit homers, but the average is way down this year for Garv. So I would like to see them get a right-handed power bat. I think that would be very ideal. And Rosenthal also reported that the Rangers are looking for a controllable reliever. So maybe you go and you trade a Mike Lorenzen type. You get a controllable reliever, maybe some kind of double-A type prospect. I don't know. I'm just spitballing right now with you guys. But that's what Ken Rosenthal was reporting. Trade Lorenzen, maybe acquire a bat and a controllable reliever, not necessarily all in the same trade. We'll see. Let me keep going here. Aaron says, again, we're going to be for sure buyers rather than sellers. I do agree by and large. I think CY with the 5-game win streak is looking now to see who can I go out and get. I think the division race is close enough. You've seen the team come together here over the last 5 games. Hopefully this weekend keeps the positive vibes going. Thanks so much. Let me keep on going here. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Alexander, what's up, my guy? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And then beyond that, y'all, let me just go headlines. Cease, of course. Kershaw makes his 2024 debut. I think he made it today. And Dodgers end up winning over the Giants 6-4. Max Scherzer collecting his 3,400th career strikeout, moving past Verlander. That just feels good, doesn't it? Saying it out loud on the all-time list for strikeouts in Major League Baseball. Very, very impressive. 10th all-time now is Max Scherzer. Collected his 3,400th strikeout today. Love to see it. Let me see here. There's an article. One prospect each team could deal at the deadline. I'm going to see if I can get this up. My computer is really lagging out on me for some weird reason today. It is what it is, but we're going to see if I can get you guys the prospect that MLB.com thinks that we could potentially trade away here. So loading technology. Okay, let's see here. So they have us potentially dealing Foscue. Okay, take it for what it's worth. It says Foscue is the Rangers' best position prospect in big league ready. He has no clear path to regular playing time with the defending World Series champs. 2020 first rounder from Mississippi State, disciplined approach, 20 homer potential. He's batted .271 with 4 homers in 29 AAA games this year. He rejoined Texas on Sunday and has been getting at bats at DH. So MLB.com, I don't know if this is anybody notable writing this. It looks like they collaborated. Mayo, Callis, Dykstra, all collaborated on this article. So they've got us potentially trading Foscue at the deadline for some kind of bat or controllable reliever. Interesting. Very interesting. I do think a guy like Foscue is going to have a tough time getting playing time. Now, look, could Foscue be a first baseman to replace Nate Lowe? Because Foscue is more controllable than Nate Lowe is at this point, although Lowe still has a few years left. I don't know. I think at this point, I would probably be open to dealing Foscue based on what I've seen. Of course, he's going to go to another team and probably become an all-star because that's just how it goes with the guys that the Rangers trade away. But I wouldn't be mad at a Foscue trade. I really wouldn't be mad at a deal like that. If you're looking to go out and get a right-handed bat, I think that would be 100% okay. Yes, Foscue totally could pop. I don't know if he's gotten enough runway to make a clear decision either way. Hasn't helped that he's come up and struggled a little bit at the big league level, but MLB.com has got us potentially dealing Foscue to go get something at the deadline. We'll see if it happens. Scott, what's up, my guy? Thanks for tuning in. Mad Max indeed. 6 innings. Think he had 3 or 4 base runners allowed, 9 Ks, passing Verlander on the all-time strikeout list in Major League Baseball history. You can't beat it. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Appreciate you. All right, guys. I think I'm pretty close to signing off for the day. We went through all the headlines. Tomorrow, we will be back at you on a Friday night after hopefully another Rangers win. Hopefully after a 6th Rangers victory in a row. By the way, Toronto got blown out today against Tampa Bay at home, 13-0. So hopefully the Blue Jays are coming into the series a bit down, 46-56 record. I think the Rangers are hitting their stride at a good time, and they're catching teams at down moments. The White Sox were on a 7-game losing streak coming into this series. Rangers made it 11. Hopefully the Rangers can heap on the Blue Jays a little bit out in Toronto before a big series in St. Louis against the Cardinals right before the trade deadline. Hopefully the Rangers finish this 4-game stretch before the deadline strong. And I'm excited to see what CY has got in the mix. Whether he's trading away guys, whether he's acquiring guys, it's going to be fun, y'all. And I'm glad the Rangers made it even more intriguing by going on this 5-game winning streak. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I always say if you're not following, you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Come back again. That way you can get notifications every time we go live. Stay up to date with all our latest and greatest content. And that helps us out with our challenge, betting 1 cent on Texas Rangers money line for every follower that we have. Y'all, we're getting so close to our first $100 bet of the year. I think we're about 40 cents, 40 followers away from getting to our first $100 bet of the season. So help me out a little bit. Again, follow, subscribe if you're not doing so already, but share this with somebody who you know is a big baseball fan, or if you know somebody that's a big Rangers fan, tell them about the channel, tell them about the account, share one of my videos with them. Let's keep growing this community we got going. Good people talking Rangers baseball, talking baseball in general. I would be very, very grateful. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday and your weekend ahead. If I don't see you, I hope you come back, for one of our lives this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, post game, or catch us on the replay. And as I always say to end every show, God bless. Go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Thursday.